All right, let's get this show on the road, guys. So, thanks for coming on a Saturday. I appreciate it. If you are invited to this, someone loves you very much. I would just love to tell you a little bit about myself real quick. This call is going to have a ton of value, and we have someone very special to introduce you to. But when I started in this industry, guys, so my name is Brooklyn Roberts. I should start with that. and I started in this industry when I was working a full-time job. I am now a retired banker. And when I started in this industry, my scorecard on paper of like personal skills was zero, 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 zero. um, but over time, that has increased into someone that I'm very, very proud of because at the bottom, there was this little attribute that I had that was called open-mindedness. And I just kept building that up, building that up, building that up. And all of a sudden, my other skills started to increase. And I found myself in an industry that was absolutely changing my life on so many spheres, including financially. And, now I can say that this industry fully pays all my bills. It has paid off hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt for me over the time of me being in this industry. And it has taken me, 4 years to get to that place, but I'm extremely proud of it. And I want to introduce you to somebody tonight who has shown me that the industry can be worked in a way that I originally thought it could, the way that I was originally so excited it was. This gentleman is honestly someone who acts with so much integrity. He's been a mentor for me. He's been an incredible resource. And I just saw his face. I just saw him pop on. So, Kyle, are you with us?
I am here. I'm sorry, I was having some difficulty like hitting the right button. It was like on and off.
No worries. You got a haircut.
I did. I broke all the quarantine rules. I got yeah, if you know me, you know that I am like 2 weeks on the dot for almost 10 years. Well, I guess yeah, actually almost 10 years. I had a stand-in appointment at my barber every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. every 2 weeks, every other week. It was like a stand-in appointment. And yeah, this quarantine has killed me. I went 7 weeks without a haircut.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah,
Well,
that was
hey,
scary.
first world problems at this point, I'm guessing. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's really it. It's okay. But he called me a couple days ago. He's like, dude, I'll cut your hair if you want to come to my house. I'm like, game on, I'm coming. I don't
there
even
you
care.
go. There
So
you go.
I'm
Well, I'm
back
happy to
to that
see
set.
that fresh cut and that nice smile. And I'm just hoping if you can tell everybody, your story about like what this industry has done for you. And then I kind of want to get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, no, let's do it. And thank you for having me on, guys. Thank you for popping on in the middle of a Saturday. It's hey, everybody's home, so no excuses, right? Like we can all get together on a little Zoom and have a little meeting. So it's super nice to be here, and I'm grateful to see all of your faces. And for those of you that don't know me, which is most of you, right? Because I see a bunch of guests, a bunch of new people. It's exciting. My name is Kyle Helm, and I'm a 35-year-old psychologically unemployable retired rock and roll drummer from California. I say that that it's kind of a mouthful, but I used to play drums professionally for a living. It's the only job that I ever had. I absolutely loved it. I toured the world multiple times. I got to play for a lot of really great artists and bands. Like I don't know if any of you guys know who Chuck Berry is, but I played for Chuck Berry for a long time. Great time. But what I haven't told you yet is that I'm married and I have 4 beautiful daughters at home that I love more than the sun, moon, and the stars combined. And I couldn't stand being away from them. I was on the road on average about 265, 275 days a year. It was crazy all over the place. And I just got to a point in my life where I said, you know what, I am willing to do just whatever I have to do to never leave my kids again, just be home with my family and be a stay-at-home dad. Because my wife was a stay-at-home mom, of course. I say, of course, like you knew. No, you didn't know. I made her a promise that she would never have to go back to work when she was pregnant with our twins. And I've held true to my promise 13 years later. And so I just wanted to be home with them, and I got a phone call from my dad one day, kind of out of the blue. The timing of it was impeccable, to be honest with you. I came home from tour and I was just done. I was just so done with what I was doing. And my dad called me and he said, I signed you up in my business. And I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? Because my dad has owned and operated a custom auto body and paint shop for I mean, all his life. My dad's 67 years old, and he's been doing auto body and paint since he was 14. And he's opened and had his own shop since he was 18. Right. So like he says they signed me up in my his business, and I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I used to work for you in college, and in high school. That's how I had gas money and other money for whatever I was doing at that time. And he's like, don't worry, I'll explain everything. And he came down and he put a portable DVD player in front of me and made me watch this network marketing presentation. Right. So a little over 10 years ago now, 10 and a half years ago, I got to see my first real presentation, if you will. Right. And I sat there. It was a 26-minute long slideshow with a monotone, like really boring voice over the top of it, just explaining it. And I just looked at it and I'm like, I can do this. Like, this is it. This is how I'm going to get off the road. This is how I'm going to quit playing drums. And this is how I'm going to be a stay-at-home dad. And I ended up leaving on tour just, I don't know, 2 days later, 3 days later or something, to Germany for a month. And while I was gone, I actually shot some messages to some friends of mine on MySpace. Like, I don't know if you guys remember MySpace, right? But that's like, that's a long time ago. And when I came home from that tour, I actually had 2 paychecks and they totaled $500. And those checks, when they cashed, were everything I needed to have enough belief to go full time in this industry. Right. Because at that point in time, I knew it was real. And I just said, if I could make $500 while I'm overseas, through MySpace, I could kill this if I went full time. And that's what I did. I quit the bands. I went full time at that moment, like that exact moment, sitting in the bank parking lot in my green Toyota Tacoma. And I quit and I went full time. And, I can remember like it was yesterday. And you guys, I will tell you that was the craziest decision I ever made in my entire life. I'm grateful I did, because that next year, that first year that I did this, I failed miserably, right? Like miserably. I was losing my house. I was 5 house payments behind. I mean, we sold our cars to pay our bills. We were living on donation food boxes. Like, things were ugly. But the thing that I people don't want to believe is that we were happy. Like, we were broke. Like, we were as broke could get. Right. I went from making a great 6-figure a year income playing drums to broke, which was nuts. But we didn't care. Like, we did not care at all. Like, we were a family again. And that was amazing. It taught me some good lessons. And anyway, sorry, I'm kind of having like flashbacks, which is kind of cool. But I never gave up on the industry, and I didn't give up on network marketing just because I was failing, because I met people that were succeeding. Right? Like, I was watching people make amazing money every single month. And I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. The only difference is that I just haven't figured it out yet. And one day, 10 months into that journey of me going full time, I met a guy who was a top 5 income earner in that company. And what I mean by that was he was legitimately making $100,000+ a month. Like, it was the craziest thing I had ever seen. I didn't even know that existed. Right. And for some reason, we just clicked. And it's the reason we're here today. And I'll explain that in a second. But we are polar opposites, right? I was 24 years old at the time, couldn't make $5 in this business, tattooed head to toe, right? Like, I'm a rock and roll drummer. This is who I am. And here he is, like, he's mid-40s, suit and tie professional. He was an investment banker, and the dude's making $100,000+ a month. Like, we couldn't have been more opposite, but we just clicked. We just clicked. Our personalities meshed, and I think there was a lot of him and me and a lot of me and him at the same time. We just didn't know it. And fortunately, because of that relationship, he invited me to Florida. Like, because of that connection, I guess is a better way to put that. He invited me to come out to Florida about 2 months later. Didn't really tell me anything. He just said, I need you to be in Florida tomorrow. Can you come? And I'm like, well, yeah, if you buy me a ticket, because I was broke. I mean, legitimately, I had no money. And I don't even know how I survived Brooklyn. It's crazy. Like, my wife and I will sit back and we'll talk about it now. And we're like, how did we make it through? Like, how did we make it actually through that time? And we can't ever really remember, which is weird, anyway. So because of that partnership, when I went out to Florida, he brought us out there to take a look at a company that had been around and been in business for about 7 years that he was going to partner up with. And he brought out 5 of us total. and to do that was to partner up with him when he was going to launch this company. And the reason that he was leaving the place that he was at was because they picked a fight with the FTC. They were doing some very unethical things, primarily in their compensation plan. I mean, just stuff that didn't make sense. You know, a lot of people always ask me, well, what do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean they picked a fight with the FTC? And I'm like, well, let me explain. Like, it was $99 to get started, but the guy that I was on his team, if I enrolled somebody for $99, he made $320. And the guy above him made $540. Like, how does that, the math isn't even, like, it doesn't make sense. That's how you get in trouble with the FTC, right? When you're paying out over $1,000 on a $99 buy-in, there's a problem. And, you know, so this guy that I met, this top 5 income earner, said this is wrong, and it's not going to last. And that's why we were looking at this other company. We were looking at this company that had a product that people could put in their bodies and emotionally get attached to, but most importantly, it could physically make a difference in their life forever. And, you know, it was something that nobody knew about, and he was going to relaunch it, and I got to be there. And I still to this day, I have trouble with understanding why I was fortunate enough to sit at that table with these people that were all successful in network marketing, except for me. You know, I just got to be there. And, you know, of course I did it, right? Like, I got started, I borrowed the money that day. I was overdrawn in my checking account, $376. I borrowed $550 and got started. And the rest is history. What happened was nuts, because over the next 27 months, 65,000 people joined us in that company. 65,000 people, 31,000 of them were on my team. And, you know, it's not that I was any good. It was just I figured out how to make it easy, or simple. Simple is a better word. I don't ever want to say easy, right? Network marketing is not easy. It is far from easy. It is hard, but it's simple, you know, and some people make it very, very, very complicated. And I learned how to make it simple because that guy taught me how to make it simple. And really what he showed me was, if we can find the one thing that makes it go, then we can just teach people how to do that. And that's why 65,000 people joined us. And that's why thousands and thousands and thousands of people made incomes that they had never dreamed were even possible, right? That's why we had so many people making 6-figure incomes. And I mean, some made multiple 7 figures in the couple of years that we were there. It was crazy. But we ended up leaving again. Why did we leave again? I hate saying that, but we had to, because the ownership was crazy. And there's no nice way to put that. Like, the ownership was doing some things that were horrible, you know, moving teams and genealogies and pulling one group from another to put them over here to make some new superstar out of thin air that never even existed. And just horribly, like, I mean, just horrible stuff. And, you know, when you do this business with integrity, like, you can't stand up in front of a room and talk about a company when that stuff's happening behind the curtain. You know, like, how can you get somebody involved when you know, like, all this stuff is happening behind the scenes? And we just said enough. And there's more to it, and I won't get into it. But, you know, for the next few years, we went out and we built teams in other companies looking for a place that we could call home, because we were sold out to what we were doing. We thought that was it, like, forever. And, you know, we went on and we built in a few other companies, and we built amazing teams that, you know, but we ended up leaving one to go to another because this company, you know, all of a sudden they change all the ingredients of their products, or this company, you know, all of a sudden gets sold. You know, you build this amazing team and then they sell the company off, and it's no longer an opportunity for people. It's just a customer base for a big company. You know, things like that started happening. And, you know, you get to a point where you're frustrated. And my partner was like, I'm done. He's like, this is the best industry on the planet. Like, where else could I help a 24-year-old rock and roll drummer, you know, go out and make 7 figures in his first, oh, well, not first year, but realistically about a year and a half. Like, where else can I do that? You know, where else can I take the stay-at-home mom that, you know, has 3 children and doesn't know anything about business and get her making 6 figures a year, or, you know, start helping her make her car payment or her house payment, and, you know, bringing her husband home from 3 jobs down to 1. Where else can you do that? He's like, but the industry's lost its mind. And it's just so bad. Like, I'm done. I'm walking away. And he was going to go back to his background, like traditional business stuff. He was an investment banker by trade. For over 20 years, he worked for Credit Suisse Bank. And, you know, he was going to get back into like consulting and things like that, you know? And I, on the other hand, what was my option? Go back to playing drums and leave my family and my kids again? And I said, no, like I'm just going to keep doing what I do because I love this industry. This industry to me is the most important thing. And I'll put up with the nonsense if I can keep doing what I do, you know? And so I kept going. I kept going, kept going. And it was about 3 years into his hiatus, I guess, as we could say, that his wife, and she got tired of hearing him gripe about it. You know, he loves the industry so much. He's not going to ever stop talking about it. We all have things like that maybe we're not part of or this or that, but we don't shut up about it because we love it. Well, his wife got to that point where she's just like, dude, you need to shut up or put your money where your mouth is. Like, that's literally what she said. She's from BC, so she's a little kind of just right to it, you know? And she said, just stop complaining. Like, do something about it or stop. And he said, you're right. You're right. Like, it is time to do something about it. Like, I've sat on the sidelines long enough. It's time to do something. And about 18 months ago, the idea to create a company called Navan came into play. And that's why we're here today, right? To talk about Navan. And I tell you this big old story. You guys are probably going like, what? Okay, what are we here for? But I have to tell you all that so you understand why this company was created. Because, you know, this wasn't just another network marketing company coming to the industry so that there was another deal, right? This company was created to be a better company, to fix all of the nonsense that the people have been experiencing for the last, quite frankly, 50 years of this industry, to fix it, right? Every industry on the planet has had a revolution except for network marketing. And nobody can argue with that. I mean, you know, Brooklyn, you talk about being you know, in the banking world. Banking is no longer the same. You know how many kids or people or adults today that have never even set foot in a bank? Like, they're like, what's it? How do you go to the bank? And you know what? It's crazy because even if I have to go to the bank, I don't even know what to do. Why? Because of this. I get a check and I take a picture of it and it's in my account. Oh, fantastic. I don't need to go get cash anymore, right? I just scan my phone or whatever the case is. Like, the banking world is changing, you know. But now let's talk about like real things like Uber and taxis, right? Or hotels and Airbnb and just everything is shifting. Why hasn't network marketing shifted, right? It's stayed the same old antiquated nonsense for 40, 50 years. And not that it's bad, because the premises behind it and the idea of network marketing is beautiful. But unfortunately, the same games have been played, and you know, the ethics have never got any better, and just people have kind of lost sight of what it was all about. And his goal of creating this company was, if we're going to do it, we're going to be a better company, but we're going to be a biblically based company and operate under things that everybody should operate under anyways. Like, treat people how you want to be treated. Be honest with each other, you know, be transparent with what you're doing. You know, don't start a company out of greed. Do it to help other people. The name alone, Navan, means to help another prosper, right? Like, the goal of this company was for you. And the most important thing was to create a company that puts the only asset it has at the forefront of every decision it makes. And the only asset is you. See, so many companies and people and business, and they forget the one true asset they have is the people, right? Because their business would not be there if people didn't buy what they were selling. That goes for every industry on the planet. Chick-fil-A wouldn't be there if you guys didn't show up, right? Think about it. And guess who treats you right? Chick-fil-A does. McDonald's, same thing. They wouldn't be there if you didn't show up, but do they treat you right? No, that's why you go to Chick-fil-A, right? So there's kind of this joke that if we were going to be the Chick-fil-A of the industry, of network marketing. And it's really what we've become, making sure that the people that interact with us have a better experience. Bottom line, take that bar, raise it high, right? Give people a better experience than they've ever experienced in their entire life in network marketing. That was it, right? Be a company that does what it says we're going to do. Pay people more than they've ever been paid. Why? Because you're the only reason the company exists. Why aren't you being paid the way you should be paid? Where all these other companies out there, what they pay you is garbage. It's true. And if you don't believe me, look at our comp plan. Why are we paying you 3 and 4 times more than any other company? Not only can we, but you deserve it, right? Like we didn't create this company to get rich, for corporate greed. We didn't create this company like every other network marketing company to have a net profit of 60% at the end of the year. Some of these yahoos out there, they're doing 700 million, $1 billion a year, $1.5 billion a year, and they net 60% of that. And they're like, oh, we love the people. Like, hey, we're in the same boat as the owner sitting in his $250 million mansion. True story. There's a owner that lives right by you, Brooklyn, in Tampa. Guy's got a $250 million house. And yet his distributors are paid garbage. And it's crazy to me, but it's reality. So we said, no, we're going to pay people what they deserve to be paid. We're going to put together a product line that isn't a flashy, like, oh, look at us now, and then tomorrow it's gone. We're going to put together a product line that is so clean and so crisp, completely transparent, with all third-party testing every single time we release a product, right, out to the field, so that you know what's in it, what it's being tested for. But bottom line, a product line that will actually impact your life on a daily basis forever. Not like, oh, look at me, let's lose 5 pounds in 5 days, or oh my gosh, not that that's bad. I'm just saying, that you get all these challenge companies and weight loss this and weight loss that, and then what happens when you lose the weight? Like, these things are like fads. And here we're like, no, we don't want to be a fad company. We need to be a company that, bottom line, will impact your life forever. And that's what we did. And you'll hear this tagline about make way for the good. And that is really what our company is about. Make way for the good from your finances, because our goal is to be that vehicle that gets you from where you are to wherever it is you want to go, or anywhere in between there, right? Financially, we know you need the money to do that. And that's what we're here to do, backed with products to get you there and keep you healthy and make you feel and live the best life you've ever lived. So make way for the good, and it's no secret when we talk about our actual product line. And so anyway, sorry, Brooklyn, I, kind of get off on tangents. If you want to kind of step in and take over here, maybe tell some people about the products and kind of what we have going on there. Maybe just kind of give them some highlights or something. I don't know. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
Oh yeah, no, you're totally fine. I honestly just love listening to you. I learn something every single time I'm around you. Admittedly, I tried to rush through my story really fast because right before this, my dog ran out the door and I have no idea where she is, but you can't catch her anyway, so it's kind of, you have to let it go. But
you probably should go find her. I can take care of the rest of this.
Trust me. No, you don't know Bailey. She will not. She'll just run further. So she'll come back to the door eventually, and I'll hear her paw at the door. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
Okay. But I learned so much from just listening to you and listening to the story, and it honestly confirms everything in my mind, because so many times in this industry have come back to the same place of the reason why I joined it, which was I couldn't not. I couldn't not. And when it came to Navan, it was like I couldn't not, because you want to talk about the products saved my life. The products saved my life. It was the difference for me between coughing up blood and not coughing up blood. We don't need to make medical claims. I understand that we can. That's a dangerous territory, but to have a product that removes all the bad stuff from your body, heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides, all of those things in the water we drink, stuff we slather on our skin, the food we eat, things we come into contact with, right? Something that is scientifically, has studies that stops viral reportation. How important is that in a time like right now, right? But even just in general, yeah. I think it was you that I was talking to once, and we were talking about why people's bodies would be able to function so much better on this product. And think about it. Your body's fighting viruses all the time. So you take that, extra thing that it has to do and give your capacity back to the functions that your body was intended to have and actually use its energy on. And it's amazing. Clean your cells out before you put things in it. It's like, why would you put amazing, supplements, products, other ones that you take, even our other ones in the line, why would you put that in your body without cleaning it out first? You don't put, your best drink in a dirty cup. You just don't. And so we figured out something that rather than going fighting all those battles, you know, changing every single product you use, you know, go boycotting the water companies to pay billions of dollars to filter the water that we drink, you know, filter the air. It's just that's a losing battle. And so we found something, we found a product that's non-invasive and it doesn't taste like anything. And you just put it in your water and you drink it and it solves those problems for you. And that was huge for me because the alternative was a procedure where I would have lost my hair, you know, which I know it's not looking that good right now, but I do love my hair. So, you know, my skin would have became unhealthy. I would have been tired. I would have been unable. Cognitive function out the window. I've watched people go through this treatment. And so I didn't want to go through that. And I was done fighting. And I wasn't seeking help and I wasn't talking to anybody about it. So when this came into my realm and I knew and I had experienced what it was doing for me, like I can't not, right? I have to, because for me it's the difference between living a quality of life that I actually enjoy and that I don't. And to understand that by opening my mouth I could give that to other people and make a lifestyle from it, that was huge. You know, the quality of food that we eat nowadays is not the same as 100 years ago. I don't care if, you know, you spend extra money on organic produce, that's better than not, but it's still not the same quality that our bodies were designed to have to function the way that they were intended. So we need those extra nutrients. We need something that nourishes the endocannabinoid system. You know, we need CBD, we need minerals. Over 90% of adults are deficient in the minerals that we provide in one liquid solution. And so all of these products are about removing the bad and putting the good back in the body to restore its origin. And you want to talk about people, you know, living a clean life, healthy living, but they're still suffering? Why? Why do people who cut out all the things that make them sick and people who are, you know, making all the healthy choices and going to the gym and doing those things, why are they still sick? Why do they still deal with these diseases that make their quality of life subpar? It's because they're not healing, right? It's because they're not removing the bad things that are making them sick. And, you know, I'm sorry to tell you, but those things aren't going away, right? So you remove it, that's great. We've all done maybe detoxes and cleanses before, and maybe that's just something you've done in your gut, but you know, this is more on the cellular level, so you're going to get, you know, into all of the cells of the body. But how about the fact that once you do that cleanse, it just comes right back? You know, to have a product that you can safely, easily take every single day to basically have like a bubble around you, like this mobile bubble. um, it's very, very powerful. And so when I saw this, I couldn't not. And it was the same feeling that I had when I had just moved back to Seattle. I was $3,000 in debt and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And frankly, I was afraid of it and I didn't know what the future looked like. And I had a job lined up, but I wasn't enthused about it. I had already been in banking for a little while. I didn't see my future. I hadn't for a very, very long time. I was terrified. I was constantly comparing myself to my sisters and my friends in my graduating class. I couldn't not. I saw something, I saw a way out of that situation for myself and I had to do it. And I think it was the same thing that you saw, Kyle, when you were sitting at that table with those gentlemen and you're like, I was the only non-successful one, but I was the only non-successful one. All these other guys were successful. So I had to do what they were doing. I've watched people in this industry go from rags to riches, yes, but I've also watched people in this industry just save their marriage from an extra $500 a month, right? Save their house, pay off crippling debt. I've seen all of that. And it just depends at whatever level someone's willing to show up for. But this industry has completely changed my life on so many spectrums. And I just think, you know, if you have that little tiny, like I said, in the fine print quality that I had, which was being open-minded, you have to give this a look. You have to give it a chance, because in a year from now, right, I don't want you to look back and I don't want you to say, I wish I had, right? I wish I had taken that girl up on the screen who just lost her dog up on what she was saying as a chance to change my life. Guys, you don't have to be miserable. You don't have to be in crippling debt. You don't have to be on the brink of losing your marriage or your house. Okay? You can be someone who's very cushy. It's okay to just not want to be average. I get that. My tagline is, basically to be above average or bust, because I wasn't put here to be average, and neither were you. Every single one of you is worth more than you give yourself credit for currently. And I invite you to give yourself a chance to figure out what that is, because that's what I've done. That's what somebody opening their mouth to me almost 5 years ago now. That's what he gave me the chance to do. And he didn't even know that's what he was doing, right? He didn't define it for me. He didn't promise me anything. He just said, this is something I'm doing on the side. You should take a look. And I will thank him for the rest of my life for doing that. Just like I will thank Kyle for the rest of my life for, obviously being through everything he's been through and retaining so he could stand up on the stage and, speak words that inspired me to keep going in the industry and find myself here talking to all of you guys.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it, Brooklyn. Thank you for sharing all. I'm sitting here, I'm like, huh. I don't even know how to follow this. like you're like totally closing it down in a good way. Brooklyn, speaking from the heart like that and kind of telling people why you got here and, a little bit more about obviously our products and how they work. And you guys, there's nothing else that matters here. We have an incredible company that we put together. A lot of times I get into the details of all the compensation and all that stuff. And you know what? Like, I think about it more and more and I'm like, it's irrelevant. Like, people know, like, right now, like any guest that's on here right now, Brooklyn already knows. Like, they're like, they already have it in their feeling. They're like, I want to do this or I don't. It's the money side of it that is not what matters to people, right? People don't join network marketing just because of the comp plan. They join because of the people that they're surrounded with and what the company has done. And, but hitting on that real quick, guys, I'm not going to take a bunch of time and talk about the comp plan because it is irrelevant, I think, because bottom line, what we have is far bigger than a comp plan. But what I will tell you is that our comp plan will pay you 2, 3, or 4 times more than you've ever been paid in your entire life for doing network marketing. I guarantee it. And that's a bold statement for me to say. And yet to this date, I am yet to see anybody that has a compensation plan that even remotely pays close to what we do. So you know what? You can look at it. You can take a look. There's 4 ways that we get paid. It's extremely simple. We have customer acquisition bonuses that are phenomenal. That means anytime somebody joins you, you're going to get paid, right? But you're going to get paid a lot of money. And if you enroll 2 or more people in a week, we're going to double the amount of money we pay you, which is crazy. I mean, crazy. Today is Saturday, right? Here's a great example. Brooklyn could get started with me today. Obviously, she's already in the business, but great example. Brooklyn could get started with me today. And let's just say, for example, it doesn't even matter what pack she gets started on. But let's say tomorrow, or by tomorrow, close a business. Like we operate on a weekly cycle. By tomorrow, close a business. Brooklyn had 3 of her friends join me. And they all got started on, let's just pick our most popular pack, our $4.99 pack. Next Friday, right? So what, 5 days, 6 days from now? Friday. So she has 3 of her friends join her on a $4.99 pack. Friday, Brooklyn will have a check in her email that she can print up and deposit right there from her phone for $750. Show me where else that happens. Doesn't happen. That doesn't exist. That's just a quick example. So that's the first way we get paid, right? Weekly, very quick. You have the opportunity right now. And because the world is kind of crazy right now, people are looking for income, ways to drive money into their household fast. Well, is next Friday fast enough, right? In amounts of money that can actually make a difference in your life? Probably so. I'm sure the answer is yes. So that's the first way. The second way is our monthly team commissions, which is our residual plan. And that's the piece that gets me super excited because there's no more guessing in what you're ever going to get paid, right? You know exactly how much you're going to get paid based upon the rank that you are with our company. It's not a percentage of a little leg. You build a little 2-leg thing and you get paid a percentage of your smaller leg, or it's not one of them deals where you build a bunch of people wide and you only get paid a couple levels down. How about you build just 3 teams and then you build underneath those teams, and no matter how big and how far away it gets and no matter who put it there, you take all of that, all of it, all the sales at the end of the month, And we look at it and we say, okay, this person had this much in sales. That means they become this rank. Well, at this rank, they're guaranteed this much pay. You know, I know that if somebody hits the rank of Sapphire, they're going to make $1,700 this month. What's it take to get to Sapphire? Not much. Something everybody can do, right? A little bit of work, boom. You know, oh, this person hit executive, amazing. That's $750 a month, guaranteed, right? And you start looking at that, and there's videos and there's PDFs that explain all this and show every bit of money. I could waste all of your time going through it, and you won't remember it in 5 minutes anyway, and that's okay. But what you need to understand is that for the first time ever, we can build underneath each other, pay it forward. We have to, the way the model grows, and you get to take all of it, 100% of it, no matter where it came from, no matter how the numbers got there, no matter how the sales contribute. And that's going to get you to your rank, and your rank is what's going to guarantee your paycheck. And that paycheck, I promise you, is double or triple or sometimes quadruple than more than you've ever been paid in your entire life with the same amount of work, same amount of volume in any other company. I promise you. It's crazy. So that's the second. The third way is our rank advancement bonuses. We have rank advancement bonuses from $100 to $200,000. Every single rank in our company has a bonus. And the coolest part is even the biggest ones are paid in 2 payments, like 2 payments. Nothing spanned out over 12 months or 6 months or 18 months or 24 months. None of that garbage, right? 2 payments, cut and dry. And then the fourth way we get paid is our retail customer sales. And we pay you 20% of the actual cost of the product, not the volume, the cost. So if a product's $100, you make $20 paid next Friday, right? Everything like this is cabs, like when somebody gets started with you, or your retail sales, it's paid the next Friday, When am I going to get paid? Next Friday. That's always the answer. So anyway, with that being said, Brooklyn, I think everybody at this point in time, they're going to have that feel. They're going to go, all right, like I need to know what Brooklyn's talking about, the stuff that's going to pull all this bad stuff out of my body so I can put the good stuff back in. The best thing I can give you guys, best example, think about your car. Like how long would your car last if you didn't change the oil? You can keep adding oil to it for years, but it's gonna, it's gonna, I couldn't think of a nice word to say. It's gonna quit on you pretty quickly, right? You have to do some maintenance, and you got to flush out the system, change the filter, put new oil in to keep that thing running. And if you want it to run smooth, you're going to do it every few thousand miles, period. If you're not doing it, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And you can keep adding oil to a dirty system, and it just keeps running worse and worse and worse, finally to the point where it doesn't run anymore. So yeah, you change your oil in your car every couple thousand miles. Why don't you change your oil? I mean, seriously, like think about it that way. You need to be cleaned out, and it's not that kind of a clean out. Like just so we're clear, our body holds on to some really, really bad stuff in our environment that, quite frankly, is the root of every single problem we know of as a human race. And if we can remove what's causing the problem, watch what happens to the symptoms. Brooklyn told you it saved your life, because that's what you need to do. You need to think of kind of like what I was saying. So you want to know about that, get back with the person that invited you. Say, hey, I need to know about this detox stuff, right? Hey, show me this comp plan that this dude's talking about. Now, I told you it was easy to build, right? Or simple to build, not easy. God, I don't know why I always say easy, even though then I always have to correct myself and say simple every time. It's really weird. Guys, we've developed a simple system that anybody can duplicate. There's only one step to build this whole business. And if you want to know what it is, just ask the person. Say, hey, what's the one step? And they're going to tell you it's run the play. And then say, okay, cool. How do I run the play? And they're going to send you a video, short little video that explains exactly how to run the play. But it's all about 3 people. That's all I'm going to tell you. If you have 3 of your friends do this with you, you're guaranteed to make more money than it costs you to get started in this business, right? So you'll automatically make a profit. But you want to know the details? Watch the video. Simple. One step to building a business. How do you think this is growing? Faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. I checked my back office yesterday, and my 3-day growth was 722 people. That doesn't happen without duplication. That's because there's one simple step that everybody has figured out how to duplicate. One simple step everybody has figured out how to duplicate. And that's how you get 65,000 people to join you in just over 2 years. That is how you guys can go out and absolutely change your life forever, by duplicating one thing, and it's called the play. So get back with that person that invited you, get your questions answered, say, I want to do this. How do I do it? And we're going to help you. But with that being said, Brooklyn, I'm going to hand it back over to you, and you can close this thing down. You really need to go find your dog. I'm really worried about this.
No, trust me,
thank you for having
she's
me.
okay. Yeah,
Okay.
well, thank you for coming on, and
You're welcome.
yeah, don't worry about her. I promise you, this happened. This happened when I was traveling the U.S. She literally got lost at like a gas station in Montana or something like that. Like,
Well, I expect a picture to be sent when she arrives. Like
I
I'd be like,
promise
see,
you.
she's okay.
I
Okay,
promise
cool.
you.
Like I'm a
But thank you.
huge. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you everybody for joining us. Like Kyle said, get back to the person who brought you on here because they love you and they care about you, and they wouldn't have brought this to you. They would not have done what that person did for me 5 years ago and stepped outside of their comfort zone in order to speak to you about this if they didn't care about you and think that it would absolutely change your life. So that being said, have an amazing evening, and hopefully we'll all chat soon. Bye.